Salutations, everyone. I'm number one.
And I'm number two.
And
we are the series. Together we start.
Together we start with what is most popular that you guys have seen, which are popular YouTube website called Jubilee. In these past few months, we have seen them make 1 versus 25 individuals, and most of them that they bring are not very smart or intelligent people. Like one of the most popular one is like a Ben Shapiro versus 25 camera voters or supporters or whatever you can call them. In this video right here, we have seen.
So first question, can men get pregnant?
Men cannot get pregnant.
Yep.
Awesome. So
Definitionally.
Okay. Do men experience SA? Sexual assault?
Sure.
Got it. What about the existence of trans men?
What about the existence? Do you mean women who believe that they are men? What are we talking about here? Women experiencing gender dysphoria?
So my other question is, do you benefit from white supremacy in any way, shape, or form?
Words like this. This guy here was complete ridicule.
I mean, what? Men cannot get pregnant. Men cannot get pregnant. No.
Making ideas for these things. Like, you just came here for just you guys watch.
I'm going to need more specifics on what you mean by white
Well, here, let me give it to you, Ben.
Sure, please.
So I'm a transgender
You gotta do with
man,
the
Okay.
chair.
I've
put it
experienced
down,
this.
Okay.
and abortion rights affect me directly.
This guy is just a fake
So
one.
if we're talking about the American dream that you live, why don't I have access to that? Because there's no legislation, in the history of America, that legislates a man's body. So why does mine have to be legislated? I've got a vagina.
I'm not interested in what your genitalia are.
Clearly you are. I mean, it's all over everything you make,
no,
buddy. I'm sorry. I hate to say it to you, but
The most pathetic thing that most of them, what they need to give themselves, they clap, they applaud appalling behavior like this girl who thinks
You
that
can
she's
read
a
on my
guy
face
for
that I
whatever
radically
reason.
am not. I think you can read on my face that I radically am not. When we're talking about
No,
abortion,
I don't. I mean, you can present it here, but in most of the content that you have, you attack my community constantly. And you don't even realize guys like me exist who actually share a lot of similarities to you and everything, because I'm a married man of 20 years.
I
Got a
recognize
wife.
that you exist. I disagree with your
Right.
claim
So
that
if
you're a
I
male.
was sexually assaulted, right, and I didn't have access to that abortion care, do you believe that I should have carried that child to term because
What does
I
this
was
have to-
sexually assaulted?
I mean,
No, I just want to make sure that that's what you believe. Because as a transgender man, I have seen your side of the entire political debate, never ever having the conversation of what an American freedom is. Because why am I not allowed to live my American freedom as a man? You know, I mean, you get your choice as a man to live and free and all that.
you're really moving around terminology very
Yeah,
wildly.
spy.
And-
It doesn't
And
even know
so
what
are
they're
you,
talking about.
because that's the tactics you play in your game.
I'm
And
gonna
you've
need
done
you-
it the entire time.
I'm
You've jumped from one subject to the next. You speak so fast, and I know how you work. So how does it feel to have it in your face?
Oh, well,
Yeah, with applauding.
Because I'm sick and tired of the shit that you have put against my community, especially black trans women. Because you constantly disregard all of our needs and then use us politically as a pawn when we're 1% of the population. Why not focus on the economy itself? All of us are struggling, and you want to focus on trans people. You want to focus on a black woman when this is clearly a glass cliff situation. America's falling apart, and let's give it a woman right when it's all falling apart, when we'd had, 50 men run it and it looks like shit? Look.
Honestly, look at all of them. Had to just he was just went there to make a rant, to talk about his issues. He never came there to debate or to understand how a person feels. Isn't that right, number two?
So I don't think so, because I'm confused. I'm still back when he said, like, can men get pregnant? I'm sorry, men cannot get pregnant. How is that even possible? And just because you're transgender, I'm sorry, but science does not lie. Biology does not lie. I'm not trying to offend anyone, but I'm just kind of
I'm trying to be full offensive, man.
I don't want to
They are
offend.
just freak of science. Freak of science.
Like, but you do not have a vagina. I'm like, I cannot say that, but you do not have a woman's
What can I
part.
say? You are a female. You are a woman.
Yes, but I cannot say it on YouTube. YouTube is gonna cancel me for that, because it's just like I'm not like any scientific person, so I cannot
What
really.
is scientific? You have. Okay.
No, don't get me wrong, but it's just kind of like I cannot just say like, oh, so like that. I cannot just say I'm outspoken, but I
This
would
guy-
say that he does not have what women have. Even though you're taking like
No, he is a woman. This guy, it's not like he, it's a she.
Right.
She is a woman. He just shaped his body with surgeries. Which, to be honest, my question with all this agenda is just here. Where do they get the money for it? This whole changing your whole. Are all of them rich? Do they take do they take a loan? Where do they get the money?
I don't know that. I do not know that.
Another video that I would like to talk about, which is very popular, is this pro-life versus pro-choices or pro-abortion, whatever fits your fancy.
But let me just say that I don't think
From Dana about some of your.
Sorry, that's the only thing I want to say.
This woman defended herself very calmly among a lot of ignorance. She was repeating again and again her point. She was basically saying about women that they do not abort it because that life does not belong to them. Maybe it is their body, but it does not belong to you. He has a legal right of protection. They must protect our life. It's individual. Maybe it's in your woman's body now, but it's individual. It does not belong to you. It belongs to everyone and deserves protection. But this lady over here, which I'm gonna let her discuss it.
Position and why you believe what you believe. I didn't really feel like we got to dialogue about that a lot, so I'd love to do that more, and I'd also love to hear what your claim would be that you want to talk about as well.
So my claim is that my bodily autonomy is the prevailing right in this debate.
Thank you. And I feel like that's something that's come back up again and again in the conversation as a through theme that we're having. So I hear what you're saying. I agree that we have bodily autonomy. I have the right to not someone to come and hit me, hurt me, etc. But there's a very unique relationship when a woman is pregnant with another human life, with another body, and that's her son or her daughter. Whether she wanted to get pregnant, intended to get pregnant, when she's pregnant, there's that unique relationship that springs into existence with the existence of that new human life. And a few times it's been said today, well, the science doesn't matter. We're just having my opinion, my personal story. The science does matter a lot because science can help tell us what is real and what is not real. And science does tell us when human life begins, and it doesn't magically begin at birth. Human life begins before birth, and human life begins at the moment of fertilization. And so, while I'm all for bodily autonomy, I believe that our bodily autonomy as women ends where another human being's life begins. And when I'm pregnant, there's another body inside my body, and they deserve the right to live. And yes, that's gonna mean maybe a few months of me trying to hopefully take care of my body because it's feeding that body and then delivering that child. And if I feel I can't parent, then there's other options. But I still have a responsibility not to kill that child via an abortion.
So I'm going to tell you a story. So I am a mother. I have a 22-year-old son who has autism. And I became pregnant when he was around 6 years old. And I didn't want to have that child. And so I had an abortion. And I had the abortion when I was about 6 weeks along because it wasn't a child. It was a mass of cells. And I made that decision very distinctly. I didn't have any regrets about that decision. I actually didn't have a lot of debate about that decision. I had a child where I lived in an estate where we didn't have an insurance mandate. So I was working really hard to get my son the help that he needed with his autism. And I did not want to be pregnant. I was in a relationship. We made a choice. Because that was the choice that I made for the mass of cells that was in my body.
I totally hear what you're saying.
And I need you to understand that it wasn't about what am I killing, what am I keeping alive. It was what was best for my body. Because I then would have had to carry that child to term. And I also want you to know that when I had my child, I am a Black woman in this world. And my birth was actually very dangerous, as was many of the women in my family, because Black women don't get the same type of health care that you receive.
I'd love to respond to what you're saying. I think it's absolutely horrible that women, because of the color of their skin, are not getting good health care. I think that's ridiculous and horrible. So we are aligned on that. When you talk about your baby and you saw that baby as a clump of cells, you said it wasn't a baby to you, it wasn't a child, and you had that abortion, you have no regrets. Our feelings or our beliefs about other people don't change that other person, that other human's value. So I could have feelings or beliefs about my son, about a person I walk past down the street, about anybody in this room, but that doesn't change whether they're good feelings, good beliefs, bad beliefs. That doesn't change that person's innate human value. And they have it.
This woman over here, this pro-lifer, her name is Lily Rose, is quite a remarkable person, honestly. And this Dana woman, which is going a lot through with her son of autism and whatever her choice was, she's a complete nutbag, in my opinion. In the later video of this, she gives an example about a person who killed his pregnant wife. And she said that it's not a double homicide because it's in the body of the woman. She says that. Let me show you right here.
In the last 2 years as illegal abortions. Are you aware of that? So even in states that are blue states,
no.
There are illegal abortions where it says, yes, before birth, this is a person. He killed the pregnant son, Connor. Connor, in your view, was just simple.
It's about the medical procedure,
another example,
not about the actual
Here's
life.
another example. Scott Peterson, he killed his pregnant wife, Lacey, and their unborn son, Connor. Connor, in your view, was just a clump of cells. He wasn't burned yet, but his dad killed him. Should he have been penalized for killing both his wife and the pregnant part of his wife, the baby, the boy, his son Connor?
No.
So you think Scott Peterson should have got off scot-free for...
Can you imagine this thing? She said that because the baby was inside, it's not a double homicide. Just because the baby is inside, it's a clump of cells. So what is it in account to be a double homicide? She did kill the woman, then open her stomach, drag the baby, they kill the baby onto her dad, would be a double homicide in her eyes.
No.
You, number two, as one of the female gender, what is your
first thing is just that when it comes to abortion, there's a lot of debate that it really takes a toll in different situations. And another thing, I've never been pregnant, brother, so I cannot really say much about it. But in a way that she says it does seem wrong. Even if you are pregnant, you still killed a child. There's still a child inside of you. If you can hear kicking, if you can hear something, if you can hear a heartbeat, whenever you go to the doctor, it's still a child. And yes.
Yeah, but they are talking before those.
Before those?
6 to 7 weeks. They seem like a clump of cells. But that clump of cells, we become
a child, exactly.
We become something, a human being.
Exactly.
And they think that they have a right to just grab it. It's not about them. It's about the child inside. And this lady over here, Mrs. Laws, is quite amazing, quite remarkable. She said that point very carefully. She says that women deserve the right to have a good medical care for their pregnancy and the duration of the whole thing.
That is true.
She keeps saying the same thing all over and over again. She said that those who go through abortion are more likely in future to have depression about that abortion.
Yeah.
Many things I've been saying this video. Honestly, she's quite great, but the people here are trying to make her like some kind of monster that are taking away women's reproductive rights or whatever. It's like, honestly, when Trump was elected, women were talking about doing the 4 Bs in South Korea, which means not to have sex, marriage, or whatever. And for me, it was like, what? For you guys to stop holding yourself, to stop sleeping with different men, that was your idea? And for all the men out there, if you have even 1% that this child may not be yours, you better just do a paternity test. But for the future, my own opinion is that somebody needs to develop birthing pods. For somebody needs to develop birthing pods.
What is that?
That they were able to create a child in a pod instead of a woman's body. Somebody must create a birthing pod. In the far future, I don't know, somebody can develop that. Or that develop sex bots. Somebody or someone.
Okay.
Yeah, just to save it. Just to save the whole debate.
Debate of what?
about abortion and it. Once that happened, I'm gonna be honest with you, the people who are gonna suffer, it's not gonna be us, man. It'll be women.
First, because it's our children. In any case, make sure to feel free to hit a like and subscribe.
Yeah, thank you for hearing my rant and our opinions, which are very basic on that. You guys are getting to decide. Always remember, I'm number 1.
And I'm number 2. And we are the siblings. Together we finish.